Today's video by Jubilee, featuring Dean Withers, who is a YouTube debater on TikTok and stuff. He got his start actually on Jubilee originally when he debated Charlie Kirk, and he also very famously cried over Charlie Kirk on TikTok, which a lot of people have been making fun of him for ever since. Anyway, let's see how he does against these women.
We need strong alpha males like Donald J. Trump, Spencer Pratt, and our loved Charlie Kirk.
Did you just ironically say strong alpha males?
We have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. You are oppressed more than me.
Men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women.
Dude.
They had to make things up to get Trump. Trump doesn't have to be a sexual predator. Any woman would love to be with Trump.
All right, listen, put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
USA! 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 USA!
I'm genuinely impressed they got 20 right-wing MAGA women to agree to do this. I'm guessing they needed the husband's permission for this, right?
From expanding women's rights to debating how far those rights should go. I'm John Regalado, and from Jubilee Media, this is Surrounded, where one brave soul faces a room full of disagreeers. Today, we are diving into what feminism means on both sides of the aisle, abortion rights, and President Trump's record. I'm here with our featured guest, progressive commentator, Dean Withers. Welcome to the show.
Dean is genuinely quite a good debater.
Excited. This will be fun.
All right, are you all?
But like, a lot of people have validly criticized him to the point where like, he doesn't take the topics he's discussing like actually seriously because they don't really affect him.
For a living, and today, I'm surrounded by 20 Trump supporters again. But this time, they're all.
So he's usually talking from a point of privilege. And yeah, he was crying over Charlie Kirk being shot, which
better at leading than women.
If you would like to debate this claim,
it's something most left-wing people would not do.
2, 1.
Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Lori. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. So the first claim is that men are not better at leading than women. And I'm honestly appalled that you as a woman would disagree. But I mean, if you want to start it off by telling us why you do think men are better at leading than women, the mic is all yours.
Well, how I would like to start this off is I'd like you to define what a woman is.
Well, sure. I think that the definition of what a woman is ultimately irrelevant to this debate, and I'm willing to assume
not.
I'm willing to pre-assume your definition of what a woman is, i.e. an adult human female. See, if I were to give you my definition of what a woman is, an adult human individual that pertains to the social and cultural characteristics typical that of a female sex indexed to their gender identity, well, then all of a sudden we're going to be speaking past one another because we define the word woman differently.
Exactly.
So I'm more than happy to pre-assume your definition.
In the first place is kind of silly because you don't know what a woman is.
Well, I just told you what my definition of the word woman is. You just simply
I
overlooked
think it would also depend on what leadership role that person would take. For instance, if you wanted Kamala Harris, who you voted for, to be the president of the United States, we have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. It's not necessarily the woman, but it is necessarily foreign countries, for instance, the Middle East. If I go to a Middle
countries like Israel,
as a woman, I can't show my hair at risk of being stoned.
Why are we talking about Middle Eastern countries when the prompt is men are not better at leading than women?
Because you're asking about leading. You voted for Kamala Harris. I think she would have been a horrible leader. Foreign countries don't always see women as respectful as they see a man.
One of the funniest things you can say in response to this, because I know they've not done their research, is countries that are Muslim majority foreign countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and a lot of countries like that have had multiple female leaders before any of the Western countries have had. Like, anyone trying to make this argument would immediately fall apart if they had known that countries like, people would say are, oppressing women, have had multiple women in political roles for so many years, actually. In fact, Bangladesh had a female dictator. That's how progressive they are.
Women leading this country, for instance, when you go...
I don't see Western countries doing that.
Policy and all of those things, they would not have the respect that a man would. I can also say as a woman, depending on your age, if I've got PMS, honey, I'm going to make different decisions than I would as if I didn't. If I'm going through menopause, I might have hot flashes or whatever else. I believe as a Christian woman, men are supposed to lead. We're supposed to help. And I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay, well, thank you, Lori. So the first thing that I'd point out here is that your position that maybe foreign countries wouldn't respect a female president as much as a male president, I don't think is represented through the fact that on the global stage, Harris had a significantly higher approval rating than Trump during the election. And there's a reason for that.
Because she would have been a pushover. They would have walked right over her.
And that's exactly why she had significantly better policy, better character, would have been a better president for America.
Not at all.
But ultimately, once again, Lori,
failure.
the topic of debate is not, was Harris a better option for the president than Trump? Because even if we want to look at women and men on this macroscopic level of evaluating one woman compared to one man, even if it was true, Harris was a clown and Trump was
pretty much, yeah, like Benjamin Netanyahu's pushing him around constantly.
The last point that you made there was about PMS, and I think that you're...
The amount of times the peace deal with Iran has been screwed over because Benjamin Netanyahu didn't like it. And he makes Trump look like he's whipped.
Crimes. Tell me why they're more likely to self-unalive, commit suicide. So you think that testosterone is what makes men more emotional?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then you just conceded the debate.
No, I didn't concede.
You just said that absolutely men are more emotional than men 5 seconds after saying that women were more emotional.
I don't think she's listening to what she's saying. She's talking, but she's not listening, not even to herself.
Because what I'm trying to say to you, women are more emotional. They just are in more of a, I can change my mind depending on my mood. Now you're bringing in anger, you're bringing in violence, you're bringing in...
Is anger an emotion?
It is, but to a different extent. And honestly, if you've got a man that's violent, out of character alone, I don't want him leading the country.
Yeah, that's why you voted for...
Oh yeah, you want to get into that? I know that's another problem, but I'm happy to get into that.
I guess we could get into that on the front.
Never accused of...
Okay, we got to pause there. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Lori. Hi. Your name's Julia?
Julia Kate. So I want to ask you, inherent in your statement that men are not better leaders than women, there's the sense that...
I want to make a quick remark about her voice, which I know you probably think she's like... sounds like a VTuber anime character, whatever you want to say. There's a specific reason why she does sound like that. It's the voice she's putting on, and it is a voice she's putting on. Or at least she's trained herself to put on, I guess. It's called the baby fundie voice is what they call it. But it's specifically a way of talking that Mormon women, or like women, like, you know, really like Christian women in like Utah and stuff, train themselves to sound, because they believe they're meant to sound like that, and it makes them sound more feminine and innocent and, you know, God-fearing and stuff, whatever you want to call it. But no, if you ever happen to go to like a there's a YouTuber called Alyssa Grenfell, who used to be a Mormon, who actually has done a lot of videos on being Mormon and the culture around the Church of Latter-day Saints in Utah, and why Mormon women do certain things, which is quite interesting if you want to read further into it. But no, this is something that is usually a sign that someone grew up in that kind of household, basically, because they're taught to speak like this, because that's how women should sound, right?
That you believe men and women are different, correct?
I think that there's obviously...
I think it's interesting because you can tell that what kind of culture or what kind of household someone came from just that voice.
Well, I mean, there's distinctions in the sense of cultural and social attitudes and behaviors. There's going to be that are, of course, innate to men and women, because
So
I don't think that
prescriptive...
I don't think that prescriptive gender norms exist. Now, like from your perspective, that we were to define the genders on the basis of sex, of course, then there's going to be sexual dimorphism, and there's going to be differences present within that. Of course, like there's a plethora of differences. Listen, I'm not denying that there are differences between men and women, because once again,
if
you watch, there's a movie called Heretic, which is about Mormon missionaries. It's a horror movie, really good horror movie. Hugh Grant's in it. He's a great villain.
That exist between men and women.
Basically,
to justify the claim that men are
if you watch a movie, they do speak using that voice.
No, I actually
in the first like few minutes of it, basically. Hang on, in fact, I've got a video here I can show you real quick. Just as a sidetrack, because it's an interesting topic.
This is Tia Livings. She's an author and she is a former fundamentalist Christian. She has a book out where she is talking about how she was a well-trained wife. Here she is talking about the fundie baby voice.
I called it wrong. It's the fundie baby. I called it baby fundie voice, but
speech. Check her out on this video.
Like a lot of evangelical Christian women, I was groomed to use what's being called the fundie baby voice. This is me as a trad wife and fundamentalist. I tell that story and how I escaped in my upcoming memoir, A Well-Trained Wife. The voice goes by several names in evangelicism. Childlike, primary voice.
Yeah, it's meant to sound childlike and innocent.
It's a suppression tactic that robs women of their natural sound and healthy emotional range. And recovery involves years of retraining and self-discovery. Sometimes, even now, 15 years later, and after all that therapeutic work, I still slip when I'm fawning. That's because fawning is a trauma response. And the voice can also point to SA in your past. That childlike voice will truncate at the age that you were first violated. But sounding sweet is rewarding.
I mean, in your experience, the people putting the voice on are usually like brain dead, really religious, hateful people. So you're probably not wrong.
How they sounded. The voice is used to coax your buy-in. They want your cooperation. This makes it really useful in politics and religion. Both systems have an agenda they want to persuade you into. The most toxic is when politics and religion mix. Now you have victims victimizing others using the voice. Truth and facts are irrelevant.
I know it sounds like I'm being judged. If I said this in isolation without the evidence to back it up here, it would sound like I'm being judgmental against it for how voice being different. But no, this is a genuine thing that I think people should probably know about and be aware of.
Volatility or violence.
But yeah, that's why this woman sounds the way she does.
If somebody is better at leading than the other person, I ultimately think that there's going to be no determinative ability, regardless if we're making the claim that men are better at leading than women or women are better at leading than men, to ever make that prescriptive
so what
claim.
I'm hearing is that men and women are essentially interchangeable in your mind.
Well, in my mind, once again, I just don't
Just
believe
yes
in
or no?
prescriptive gender norms.
Okay,
And I
got
think
you.
that ultimately one's gender is irrelevant
can
to
I
their
ask you a
leadership
question?
capabilities. If you can tell me what are the relevant differences between men and women
Yes.
that make men better at leading than women?
Yes, we can go back to the hunter and gatherers when men were the ones going out to hunt and women were the ones staying with the children and gathering fruits and nuts. Men are the people that go towards risk, that go towards provision, naturally. Why is it that in today's, even our influencer community, we have more women that are drawn towards beauty, makeup, things like family, schooling, and men are more drawn towards traditionally masculine things?
Well, I find it interesting. They've actually got women of color in the MAGA women crowd.
Hormonally different. That's been mentioned throughout this place.
I wonder what kind of
You
arguments they're going to
do
make if
not
they
know
get
what
to the
it's like
chair.
To have a cycle, to have a period, to have your hormones go up and down.
Yeah.
That is insanely significant for a woman's ability to lead. And women will complain about being scared to walk on the streets at night, and yet they'll elect the same politicians that release the criminals on the street.
Do you think that women should lose the right to vote?
I think that I'm not talking about that today.
You just got to get a quick yes or no, then go
I
back to the
think that
topic.
we need strong alpha males like Donald J. Trump.
Why do they keep calling Trump an alpha male? He absolutely fucking is not.
Have secure borders, who will not let criminals
Did you
on the
just
street.
unironically say strong alpha males?
Strong alpha males, yeah.
Bro, get a grip. Stand up.
You,
Listen.
bro, get a grip. You're a man. You want to mansplain to me?
Well, I mean, actually, you just said that men are better at leading than women,
I
so you
do.
should listen to every word that
I
comes out
am
of my mouth
listening.
per your perspective, right?
Mhm.
So if you think that men are the strong alpha males and women are the emotional followers, why
I
won't you
think-
follow my lead and listen to what I have to say?
First off,
Because he's gonna do no reverse on her.
I believe that male and female are created equal in the image of God. We each have the same dignity and the same value. We have the same brain, the same rationality, but we have different and distinct roles.
Okay.
Why is it that women can get pregnant? Only females can get pregnant.
Well, of course, that would boil down to the physical biology.
Physical biology.
Because
and
that
isn't
of
that
the.
innate that women are more geared towards child rearing and child raising than men are?
So once again, the way that we started this conversation was by me agreeing that there are going to be differences between men and women.
Exactly.
You just simply
So
disagree.
men
Could
are
I
better
finish?
leaders.
I would love if I could finish. You can't say because there's differences between two things that thereby innately one of the two things is going to be better at leading than the other. Like, I think that's ridiculous. Listen, once again, my claim is that the differences
The
that
sad part is this is probably the best argument to put out so far. We're only like, what, 15 minutes into the video?
You made a lot of claims. I think it's been the opposite.
Okay.
To respond to your claims,
Thank
you
you,
said
sir.
that there's a difference in the hormonal balances of men and women that make women more emotional. Well, I mean, I already went over this with.
It's not even just more emotional. It's that our bodies are not equipped to handle the same levels of cortisol as men. We
They're
need
actually more
care.
equipped.
Look at Donald Trump. The
They're
man
more
literally
equipped.
lives off of Diet Coke and McDonald's.
Okay.
We could not do that.
Okay. Listen. Actually, women are more equipped than men to deal with stress. It is proven by
That's
the science.
actually not true.
No, I'll tell you. You could look this up.
I mean, if she genuinely believes that, why aren't the men the ones raising children at home, right? Because raising kids is a very stressful thing to do, and if men are better for it, why are women doing it? That's the argument I'll be making here. Like, if she genuinely believes that, men are better equipped to handle stressful situations, and she should be arguing for men being the ones to stay at home and look after kids while the breadwinner wife goes out and, earns a living, because clearly men are better equipped for it, according to her, right? But I don't think she'll ever consider that argument.
Women have thicker dendrites in their brain, and study after study after study has concluded time and time again that this gives women the ability to better manage their stress than men. And you actually brought this up. You brought up childbirth. The reason why women have thicker dendrites in their brain, giving them a greater navigation ability, giving them a greater ability to deal with their pain and stress, is because of childbirth. Okay,
Yes, because
and that's exactly why
childbirth is
women
a
can
big
deal with their
thing.
stress better than men. So your claim that the opposite is true is wrong. And plus, once again, when we look in society, how men deal with stress compared to how women deal with stress, well, when a man gets mad, he commits a violent crime, he kills his wife, he kidnaps his children, he sets his house ablaze. And this is why men are significantly more likely to commit every single crime on the books, including crimes that do not have a necessity for any use of physical strength, such as arson, cyberbullying,
If you think
or
women are such good leaders,
terroristic
why won't you let me
threats.
speak?
Cyberbullying mentioned. I'm glad to have been recognized for that. That's something I participate in all the time.
Stay on topic because I'm a woman and I have a brain. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I guess women are better at leading than men.
No, we're not. We're good in our certain roles. We have our strengths and our values. We're good at raising children. We're very smart and adaptable. But men are the people that need to be out there fighting crime for us, protecting us, so that we feel safe and we can keep our children safe. Why do you think that just historically, more men are CEOs, more men are presidents, senators, whatever kind of leadership role you want to talk
Oh,
about?
she's so close to getting it.
Because of white supremacy,
Is she gonna connect the dots?
Some kind of legal limit. It's because men are drawn to those roles. Today, women have the same exact rights as men, and still, a lot of them choose to stay at home or feel that they can't stay at home because of societal pressures.
Okay, well, I think that you said it there at the end. Societal pressures. Societal pressures are the reason why I think that we've seen more men in positions of power, more men in leadership fields, and more men's calling the shot. But if you're the position that underpins your claim here would be that if we see an overrepresentation of men in a field in comparison to women, that men are then by definition better performing in that field. So in the same way you're claiming that because of a vast majority of leaders are men, therefore women are worse at leading, would you also claim that men are better at surgery than women because 85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women? I just want a direct yes or no to my question so then I can follow this up with a dialogue.
Become surgeons because it's a more masculine thing. It takes more masculine traits.
Could you
To
just
have
answer my
to look
question?
at the blood. I said yes, but I want to ask you.
I don't know. Women literally menstruate. They have to look at blood more often than men do.
Men are told that they're toxic for being masculine. The only laws that prevent any gender
Please
from
don't
getting
vote
a
her
role.
out. I need to respond.
We have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. You are oppressed more than me.
This chick is crazy. Okay, listen, I think that you're crazy because you just said that I'm more oppressed than you, while also claiming that I'm a better leader than you after making the argument that disproportionately men have been in positions.
I don't think she's able to connect any of the dots that she's laid out. I think she sees them as individual arguments and doesn't realize that a lot of things she's saying are related to each other, and maybe she can figure things out if she worked out what the connecting factor is, but she's never going to do that.
The vast majority of leaders have been men.
I mean, she seems to be repeating talking points she's been taught, really.
Women are better. The science says
I don't think she's ever thought about any of these things herself. I think she's just repeating things she's been told to say. And has never actually properly thought about it.
1.4 million patients over 6 continents in 14 years, and what they determined consistently is that when we account for every single confounding variable that could possibly exist, every single time, men are significantly more likely to kill a patient on the operating table or to give them negative postoperative outcomes.
Conrad, welcome on in. How are you doing?
It is one of the most well-accredited studies ever conducted in human history that has reasonably concluded that women are better at surgery than men, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. And this is exactly what debunks your claim that if a field is overrepresented by men, that therefore men are better at performing in it.
Of our natural desires and what men and women are.
How about me? I started streaming later than usual purely because it's way too warm to stream during the day, so I'm having to do it later on. I'm sorry, I'm streaming around your bedtime right now.
That's because of innate biological characteristics.
But women are better at
surgery.
surgery.
And I said that you're oppressed because of society telling you that you need to be a beta woke man. You are not like oppressed as a leader. Like instinctually, you want to lead. You want to teach me. That's because of your nature, and I appreciate that very much. But I disagree with your claims.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to concede here that your argument that men are better at leading than women because more men are leaders than women is false. And the reason
okay, we gotta stop there. We're out of time, so please return to your seat.
Pleasure.
I surrounded episodes you watching got you scratching your head again, thinking, "Damn, I've rage baited myself on a Jubilee video again." Well, I got something else that's going to do the same thing to you, or possibly teach you something. You've probably seen me before. I'm Austin Julio Broughton, and I'm a Christian. Tune into our show, The Split.
Shiva Bagari.
Shiva Bagari. Well, would you like me to take it away by explaining to you why I think Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator?
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's a sexual predator because the court has held him civilly liable
Good reference.
a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. Of course, in somebody is something that would make one a sexual predator. In 2005, he also boasted about engaging in sexual violence by sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants at the beauty pageants that he owned by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies. And this isn't an allegation from some woman that you could defame and say just wants money or fame. No, this was an admittance of guilt, something that Donald Trump said he did on Howard Stern's radio show. And I see you shaking your head. I'll happily play you the clip if you want. We also
please show me the clip because
She's wearing the Elon Musk dark gothic MAGA hat, which is something I don't think anyone else would ever do.
Is that I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that everything was good. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see
this is with like a teen beauty pageant as well, so a lot of them are
why don't we start there? Mike's
very young, as he put it.
He said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so
It does.
They might have. No, it doesn't.
He said that they have no clothes on. When you have no clothes on, you're naked.
Who said that they didn't have clothes on?
Donald Trump.
He didn't say that in the clip.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Should not listen to it.
Again, I want to hear it again.
yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay?
There you go.
Oh, well, it's a club. Like, he didn't actually say clothes, but he said club.
Is he really?
For us to be intelligent, rational.
We all heard that, right? There were subtitles and everything. We saw the subtitles, and she's denying it right there.
You're like a doctor because doctors get to see
I
people
don't.
naked.
Okay, I don't agree with that. But men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me,
They are immune to hearing the truth.
Actually looks at women and is.
They legitimately bury their head in sand the second they hear it. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't hear him say it," despite the fact that he very clearly said it in that clip.
Too, and I'm not even a lesbian, but I think women's bodies are beautiful. It's like
Ma'am,
art
I'm
to
sorry.
Me.
No,
it's art
I'm sorry.
to me.
This is
now,
disgusting.
No, and
you just told me that you would prefer a man who, quote unquote, likes the female body and is willing to barge into the private women's only dressing rooms to look at them while they have no clothes on.
I said
compared
before
to
that
you're saying I think that real men with testosterone are sexual predators.
So you just lied about me right now because I said I don't believe what he did was right.
But
by
it was
going
the
in there.
but I would prefer a man who likes to look at the naked bodies of women that got
I've been over someone that is attracted to other men. Yes,
Why?
Absolutely. Because it's not natural.
It's not natural to be gay?
It's natural to be attracted to the opposite
Define
sex.
natural.
Natural is what God made, Adam and Eve.
So God didn't make gay people?
Well, actually,
I thought that God was the creator of all.
No, that's sin, and sin came from the devil.
No, sin is a conscious decision. Being gay is not a conscious decision.
Well, actually, being gay is a conscious decision.
Okay, could you choose to be gay?
It's an action. It's an action.
Could you choose to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you choose to be?
I think he's closeted bisexual.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
A lot of women actually.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom? If attractions are a choice, could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Can you choose to be a pedophile?
No, I couldn't choose to be a pedophile. Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Oh, so there you go. He thinks, no, it's an action, honey. And you can choose to sin or you can choose not to sin. I try to keep the devil away from me.
Can I just get a clear answer to the question?
And no, this is a clear answer. But see, you don't come from a biblical standpoint.
What are
you
the first four books in the New Testament?
I come from a biblical standpoint.
He's taking us in an interesting direction. I don't know if he's ever going to get an answer out of it. It's not the direction I would have gone in.
Came from a pedophile named John Money who lied about a study to push reassignment surgery on thousands of people through his lie that butchered this poor boy and put him through hell. Reimer twins, go look it up on Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay? So
I'm going to ask the question
You
again.
get all of the news from Oprah.
I live in reality.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did.
A tree's a tree, a woman is a woman, a man's a man, and if you are choosing,
a moron's a moron.
And if you're choosing, see, that's what they do. When they can't win an argument, they go for calling.
Okay, pause. Everybody pause. Dean, we got to ask that you don't do personal attacks.
Okay.
That's a warning.
Okay. All right. So first and foremost, the question once again was, could you choose to be attracted to your mother? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because you had suggested that all attractions are a choice.
It is
so
a choice.
So please, with just a concise yes or no, could you choose to literally be sexually aroused by your mother? So there's two possible answers to this question. The first possible answer is yes, Dean, I could choose to be attracted to my own mother. And the second possible answer would be no, Dean, I could not choose to be sexually aroused by my own mother.
You're trying to do a
so
hook
what's
on
your
me.
answer?
Could I do you have a yes or no for that?
No, because this is a hook. Because I will never be attracted.
Langers, welcome on in. You're watching 20 MAGA women trying to debate a woke leftist.
That's it. I'm not going to get to say that on camera. That's weird. And I'm not going to be in the hook of this young man that's 21-year-old telling a 52-year-old to say something disgusting like that.
So you admit that it's disgusting to think that you could choose to be attracted to your mother.
We got to stop there that you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat. If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal.
My name is Surreal.
Surreal. It's a pleasure
Nice
to
to meet you.
We're going to go back to the prompts. I think that Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator. The reasons why I think this are some of them that I shared with the last guest. It's because I think that Donald Trump is he had a civil court determine that he raped a woman by the name of Eugene Carroll. We listened to that clip of Donald Trump bragging about engaging in sexual violence. Listen, I take a sexual predator.
Yeah, I think he was basically rage baiting her in the previous one with that point.
About that when he said he'd barge
I think he could have done better, but he went with the low-hanging fruit, in my opinion.
If Donald Trump's admission of guilt in that clip that I played to the last lady is true, and this is indeed something that Donald Trump has done, then by definition, Donald Trump would be a sexual predator, and thereby, by definition, I'd be right.
Can we both agree that people in power of elitists, people up there in politics, all have their own, maybe their own immoral traits to why they're running for candidacy? Like we've heard about Epstein files, about all these different people that, maybe they're not really here to make a change for us.
Yeah, go for it.
I could care less about what Donald Trump says on the media, because I believe as long as he does his very best to be a good president and do the best for this economy, I don't vote for a president based off their character. I vote for them based off what they can get done. Honestly,
I think even then they won't admit it.
What you said. Okay. Are you saying, Dean?
I think they're too fully invested because they had the fucking posters and the signs on the front lawn,
because of his policy.
And essentially, they've invested so much of the personality in it. It's like a sunk cost fallacy. They don't want to back out of it now. Because they know everyone around them is going to judge them for changing their mind and backing out or something.
Let's start from the top of this debate. You sit down. I tell you Donald Trump is a sexual predator.
How do I stay sane watching this? Good question.
You respond.
I think it's purely because I genuinely engage in a lot of debate myself, and I know a lot of counter arguments and stuff to make. I think having experience in regards to this sort of thing helps you keep a cool head about it.
I would still support him as
I know it can be mind-numbing for a lot of people.
for the American dream.
Yeah.
But one of the key reasons I watch a lot of content like this specifically, in fact, I watch a lot of right-wing content as well, like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk when he used to make content, but he hasn't been doing that for a while now. Things like LBC as well. And the reason I do is because it helps me form an idea. Well, Sun Tzu, know your enemy as you know yourself, right? The better I know the kind of arguments I'll be dealing with, the better I can counter them. And that's why I'm genuinely really fucking good at dealing with people like this. And it's why, 80% of my content on my pages, my monetized page and stuff, literally my income is from me not just, dismantling really, big, right-wing talking points, but also doing it in a way that's really fucking funny and entertaining. I don't know, Charlie Kirk hasn't posted any videos in a while, has he?
We gotta pause there.
Quote unquote, I would still support Donald Trump as president if he was a sexual.
It's been almost a year.
If he was a child, they'd still support him.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Liz.
Nice to meet you, Liz.
Nice to meet you.
Listen, I think that you've heard my arguments. You happen to be sitting in a position where you could hear my voice. Mic is yours.
Another thing I want to mention to you about weird Christian American culture is this lady looks really tan, right? And one thing that happens a lot in, again, Utah predominantly, but in a lot of right-wing Christian fundamentalist areas and religion, sects, whatever you want to fucking call it, is they tend to get fake tans quite a lot. Fake tans and boob jobs, right? Utah is the state in the US that has the most cosmetic surgery for women done. And it's because they want to look like they've just been on holiday, basically. Also, it's just this idea of artificial sort of looking good and hot for your husband that women are basically groomed into in these sort of societies. So if you're wondering why she happens to look like that, and I think I don't know, maybe it's something to do with Trump looking orange as well. That might be part of it. But it's usually part of Mormon culture.
Okay, so my question is, because you mentioned Donald Trump going into the women's locker room.
They don't actually want to leave to go to another country because foreigners are there, but also they want to look like they've been on holiday, have a healthy tan, so they get a fake tan.
I think that the definition of sexual violence would be any sexual act that is done without consent, and I don't think that this would be true of trans women who use a women's restroom, and I have an argument for why I think that trans women should be able to use a women's restroom, but let's try to take advantage.
A lot of people also forget, like 10 years ago in 2016, Trump used to support trans women and trans rights.
With the claim that Donald Trump is a sexual
They
predator.
don't realize that he changed his mind on it when he realized it can get him elected.
Women by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies without consent, then telling Howard Stern how much.
Okay, Jimmy, hang on. Let me see if I can find the video. Literally 10 years ago, this was Donald Trump's opinions on trans women.
On Twitter, Mr. Trump, I picked one here. This is from Jessica Hershey, Toms River, New Jersey. I'll just read it as a quote on a hot button issue here. Mr. Trump, please be specific. Tell us your views on LGBT, how you plan to be inclusive as president. Speak about North.
Trump used to be woke. People forget about this.
Question was going to come up, I will tell you. Well, look, North Carolina did something that was very strong, and they're paying a big price, and there's a lot of problems. And I heard one of the best answers I heard was from a commentator yesterday saying, leave it the way it is right now. There have been now
people have short-term memories.
Leave it the way it is. North Carolina, what they're going through with all of the business that's leaving and all of the strife, and that's on both sides. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is. People go, they use the bathroom that they feel.
If he said this shit now, his entire fan base would lose their mind. The whole MAGA cult would fall apart. He was originally woke. This is 10 years ago, 2016. He changed up his mind and started pushing the whole anti-trans narrative because he saw it would get him votes. This is why people call right-wing people grifters, because they don't believe any of the shit they're spouting. Like the people who repeat Trump's talking points, like Asmongold. They don't believe any of the shit they're saying.
That is correct.
See? Can you believe the fact that that's the same Donald Trump that we're dealing with today? They don't believe any of the shit they're saying. They're doing it just to get clicks and views and attention, basically.
He's mentioned the Epstein files over a million times.
The young women in sports who do not want biological men in their dressing rooms, doesn't that go against them?
Well,
what about their safety?
I would love to have a conversation with you about trans people in dressing rooms, or sorry, more so locker rooms. And I understand where you're coming from if you say, well, I don't want a trans woman in my dressing room because I would see their naked body and their genitalia.
Well, no,
the reason why I get it, the reason why I understand where you're coming from is because even when I go into my gym's locker room and I see other dudes with their dicks out, I'm like, hey, bro, I don't really want them to see me. I don't want them to see me. So I advocate. One moment. I advocate for unisex, unistall, one person at one time changing rooms in locker rooms and gyms and sports across the country.
The thing is,
that's my position. But let's talk about the claim that Donald Trump is a sexual predator.
Part of the claim.
Well, you're not.
First of all,
do you accept that Donald
That's the problem, dude. They don't want to listen. They want to talk over but not listen to what they say. They even listen to things they are saying.
And a court found him guilty of raping Eugene Carroll.
No, he didn't. No, they didn't. That's a lie.
They certainly did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Listen.
Oh, if only she could see the fact check next to her right now.
Would include the penetration of a woman's with any part of a man's body, including his fingers.
Without consent.
Yeah. So specifically, the action that the jury found Donald Trump guilty for was forcefully penetrating Eugene Carroll's.
I think what's going on, I see actual proof, because a jury can just agree with anything. That's something else, okay? Until there is actual proof and evidence, and if you can show me the proof that Donald Trump raped her, then fine.
Thank you so much for the great question. What's all the evidence? So the first form of evidence that we would have would be Eugene Carroll's testimony, which has maintained consistency for the last 30 years as corroborated.
One thing I don't get right is when the people ask for evidence for Donald Trump being a creepy sex pest, right? When legitimately it's been all over the news. Did they all forget that he cheated on his wife with Stormy Daniels, a porn star that he then paid hush money to? This is something that's public knowledge. And we've seen proof of, and he himself has admitted. And they're all pretending that he's like a good Christian husband who respects his wife and family. No, he fucking is not. We know this. It's his own admission at this point as well, that he paid hush money to her. In fact, it was a whole big thing. How do people forget about this shit? It's actually insane how much people are willing to ignore.
By 4 friends that testified under penalty of perjury. The second form of evidence that we'd have
And no one's lied under penalty of perjury.
Well, can you please examine the evidence in which I provide as soon as I'm done providing it? We have therapist notes from the 90s indicating she was by Trump. We had the testimony of a psychotherapist that said when Eugene Carroll was testifying to the fact she was by Donald Trump, she was exhibiting signs consistent with true trauma that we'd expect to be onset by a true victim of. Then we have Donald Trump's lies and inconsistencies. He lied. He said that he never met her as a part of his testimony for his defense. And then E. Jean Carroll responded by submitting a photo of them together to court.
Do you
we also
remember
have, I'm not
every
done with the evidence. I'm not done with the evidence. Ex-wife Marla Maples under deposition, so clearly she was his type. Then we also have E. Jean Carroll's dress. E. Jean Carroll submitted a dress to the court, claiming it was the dress that she was raped in by Donald Trump. Court confirmed it had male DNA on it. And then when the court asked Donald Trump to provide a DNA sample to test against the DNA in the dress, he said, no, 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 no. Doesn't sound like something an innocent man would do. And then the last and final piece of evidence we have would be his character priors. Listen, we all know that a one-time felon is around 73% more likely to engage in another felony compared to somebody that's never committed a crime in their life. The same thing rings true about being a sexual predator. So because Donald Trump has character priors with engaging in sexual predation, like the dressing room clip, proudly boasting about sexually exploiting naked women and girls, or like the Access Hollywood tape where he literally said that he would just grab women by their vaginas without asking first, and that's precisely what the jury found him guilty of doing, or everything to do with the Epstein files, that in consideration with the direct evidence submitted by E. Jean Carroll and his lies is absolutely what demonstrates Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll.
Okay, we got to stop there. We got to stop there. The flags are up. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Yeah.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gina.
Nice to meet you too, Gina.
Thank you. First of all, if Trump was truly a predator, he would have never reported Epstein to the feds.
Yeah, he didn't.
In the 90s. He did.
Do you mean 2006?
Yeah, sorry, 2006.
That's okay.
Also, was he ever on the island?
Well, I don't think that there's any evidence to demonstrate he was on the
never
island.
on the island.
Because I don't think he needed to go to the island to get it off. Listen, about the 2006 quote-unquote...
I mean, there's literally a book.
Epstein, he didn't...
Sorry, a count even.
Epstein
of
arrested.
Trump visiting, Trump and Epstein having a long history together.
And said, oh, thank God you got him. We've known about what Epstein's been doing all along, which A, indicates that Donald Trump knew what Epstein was doing with Maxwell and didn't report to him to the cops prior to Epstein's original arrest. And B, indicates that Donald Trump has been lying to us about the nature of his relationship with Epstein for the last 10 years.
People forget that Epstein trafficked women off the island as well.
It was never involved and was completely oblivious. But according to that report...
Well, Trump will go all to an island where he can get, like, you know, home delivery at Mar-a-Lago from Epstein, who didn't even live that far away.
Up. They had to make things up to get Trump. Trump doesn't have to be a sexual predator. Any woman would love to be with Trump. Okay, any woman.
Do you have a husband?
No.
Okay. Wait, well, let's actually test that. Could I have all the women with husbands or boyfriends in the room raise their hands? So her claim is that any woman would love to be with Trump.
Love.
Would you guys cheat on your husbands and boyfriends with Trump?
Well, we didn't say if they were married.
I mean, instead of anybody who's in a relationship, is there anybody who would want to be with Donald Trump?
Let's do it the other way around.
He doesn't have to be a sexual predator.
Okay. All right, listen. Put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
If I was married to
I'll certainly put my hand up for that one.
and I'd love to be.
Why? It's not
Okay,
about the
because he's a predator.
Okay, and if
Trump
he is,
doesn't
burn him,
have
throw him
to
under the
be a
jail. I don't
sexual
care.
predator. Trump did report him to the feds.
I thought I clarified
when-
that's not what
well,
happened.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. Show me that. Give me
Virginia,
evidence.
first of all, Virginia Guthrie worked at Mar-a-Lago in the early 2000s.
It's Virginia Giuffre, actually.
Prompted her to come and work for him as a massage therapist. Trump was pissed, and he reported Epstein.
Okay, well, I would recommend looking at the fact check that will likely be on the video screen that says, actually, he placed this phone call after Epstein was arrested to thank the cop and to tip them off about Ghislaine Maxwell, because that's what the fact check is going to say.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is in one scenario, he's reporting the crime to the cop to then get Epstein arrested. In the secondary scenario, he's thanking the cop after Epstein's arrest and indicating that he knew about what he was doing.
Indictments.
I think that in many scenarios, what we'll see from quote-unquote co-conspirators of criminals is, well, once their friend gets arrested for the same crime...
I think the Bible needs an extra page added into it, right? I think at the very end of the Bible, not even a page, just a single line, and all it should be is just an asterisk that says the word citation needed. I think that's the update we need to add to the Bible that, you know, would solve all the issues the Bible has caused recently. Not even recently, just in general.
The statute of limitations.
That's not true. There is no statute of limitations when it comes to...
So by the law, okay, the crime that Donald Trump committed per the New York State legal definition of rape and of sexual abuse in 2019 through
He never
2022
committed that crime.
was specifically sexual abuse.
Yeah, I asked the guy to comment on my video.
They only defined rape as penile penetration of the vagina, and she testified that he raped her with his fingers instead of his penis. So
No,
because of
that's
that,
a lie.
it would
There's
be
no
legally
proof of that.
categorized as sexual abuse, and that's the crime that had a
She's
statute
out of her
limitations
mind.
on
She's
it.
insane, and they threw the case out just recently.
Okay, why do
Okay,
you
we
think
got to
she's out of
pause
her
there.
mind?
We got to pause there. You've been voted out. I just want to get a real quick raise of hands. This is not to shame anybody. I was just genuinely curious. Raise your flag really clearly so we could get a poll. If at Donald Trump's like, you know, when he was in his 40s, if you think he was an attractive man. I just want to get a raise of flags.
They're really hung up on that, aren't they?
Keep your flag up if you think he is currently still hot. Okay, I appreciate it. All right, if you would like to be the next debater, please get
They really went the extra length to try and justify the comment, didn't they?
Hello again.
Welcome back. Mike's yours. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you believe in equality?
Well, I mean, I think that's a very vague question, but generally, of course.
Okay, so if you do, then all humans are equal, correct?
No, I don't think that all humans are equal.
They want done, you know, they say, hey, if I become brain dead, then pull the plug.
Yeah, but for instance, if they don't do that, okay, like, for instance, I haven't done that. If when I leave the set today, I get into a nasty car accident, I get T-boned by a drunk driver, I go brain dead. Okay, would it be murder for like my family to tell the doctor at the hospital, well, because he's brain dead, let's just go ahead and pull the plug? Would that be murder?
I honestly, you're talking to someone that is very skeptical of doctors, okay? And
Of course she fucking is.
they talk about brain dead people that weren't actually brain
He's
dead.
in a room for 20 of them actually right now.
That's why I always leave up to everything to God. So when I die is when I die.
I want to clarify
So
that.
I actually don't want to be killed. But now, if you're on all these machines to keep you alive, if it's months and months and you're not getting better, then you're using machines to keep you alive.
But they're still alive, and you still don't think it's murder to kill them. So you actually don't think that all humans have this intrinsic right to life? And by the way,
I never said no. You don't speak for me. Again, I just told you I don't believe in doctors. When it's my time, it's my time. Now, question for you.
All right.
So when do you think life begins?
I think that life begins at the moment of conception.
Good. I'm glad you believe that.
You're Christian, and you base your morality
and that's
off
called
of
science.
Christianity.
And see, it seems like
Can
the
I ask
people
you
that
a
say
question?
we're anti-science, they're anti-science because they don't believe man and woman. They believe genders.
I want to ask you a question about abortion.
Okay.
You made the claim that all humans are equal. Every single human has the identical right to life. That is a claim that fundamentally everybody
it depends.
rejects
Actually,
in one way or another.
I didn't say that. So, see, you're putting more into the sentence that I did not add.
Your opener
okay, I
was
said
about equality
for, life,
for everyone.
Liberty and a pursuit of happiness.
Which
now,
would be
if you're a
the right to
murderer,
life.
I do believe in capital punishment, but because of your actions.
Okay.
So
That's
where I don't believe in equality is like,
Can we
is a
push
baby
the
and a
abortion debate
murderer
along?
the same? No, because a baby's innocent. A civil society protects the most innocent and vulnerable. They don't go and murder them. That is a satanic society, and I reject a satanic society.
Okay, we got to stop there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
That was going nowhere.
Next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Tish.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Why should abortion be illegal?
Well, let me ask you something. Abortion is legal here. What procedure do you prefer? The suction, the dye, and the what is it?
I don't know. The most brutalistic, gross one where we chop up all their limbs and throw them in the trash. Listen.
Really, that's gross.
Okay.
That is so gross.
I know. I'm rage baiting you. Listen.
I have 4 children.
My personal favorite is the blender.
I would never ever do that to my children.
And I
would
think-
you have your girlfriend do that to your child?
Well, ultimately, I think it's a
Or do you
choice
have a
of-
girlfriend?
I do.
Oh, you
Ultimately,
do?
I think that it's a choice of the woman. So if
Okay.
you want to tell me that you never get an abortion,
No, I
all
can
the
never
power
have
to you. I love that for you because that's your choice, and I think that's great. But listen, I don't think that abortion is murder because I don't think that there's any trait that we could identify to be true of a fetus in which we fundamentally would value enough to grant the right to life. The last person on the mic said, well, fundamentally, all humans have the same right to life. And that's something that we hear from a lot of pro-lifers. As I was attempting to communicate to her, everybody rejects that view in one way or another. So I want to hear your argument insofar as why it's morally wrong for a woman to get an abortion outside of its gross. Because grotesqueness doesn't arbitrate morality. Like, taking a shit's pretty gross. Shit smells like shit, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to say it's morally wrong to take a shit, even though it's gross. So what's the
Depends
argument?
on where you take a shit, really.
Let me just ask you this. Everyone's really, really...
If you're taking it at
focused
Sam
on-
Altman's house on his porch, I think it's probably morally right to do it
for
there.
every woman. Why don't you think about it the other way and think
Would even be
about
the worst thing that's happened to his house,
women
actually.
who don't want to have babies? Why aren't you guys helping them prevent pregnancies?
We do. I agree we should.
Yes, we should.
100%.
We
And
should
we need
be-
access to comprehensive sex ed in schools. We need free and fair access to
In schools?
yeah, of course.
At what age?
Is at an age appropriate level. I would say starting in late middle school, because I was in middle school. You were in middle school. We were all in middle school. The second thing that I think is also important here would be free and fair access to contraceptives, and we should also try to find ways to limit financial instability in young women and young men, because the leading cause of women accessing abortion is financial instability. But you still haven't answered the question, and you've been up here for a while.
Okay.
I want to hear why you think that abortion is wrong. I think that you're struggling to come up with an argument.
Because it is murder.
And the definition of
It is-
murder would be the unjust termination of a human life. Explain why you think it's unjust.
First of all, a woman who has a pregnancy, a baby in there, they have the right to life too.
What grants the fetus the right to life?
What grants it just that it's been conceived.
Or the fact that it's a human?
It is a human.
Okay, so brain dead patients have the right to life too?
So what, brain dead?
Yeah, they're human.
You know what? I've heard of brain dead humans coming out of comas.
Then they're not brain dead. The definition of brain death is irreversible cessation of all cognitive function. Do humans who are biologically alive because of machines with irreversible cessation of all cognitive function have the right to life?
I haven't really researched that. So if there was no hope, possibly, they should. I mean, that's not my decision to make. That's a family member's.
So you think it should be up to the choice of the family to kill a human?
You know what?
No, that doesn't have the right to life.
Doesn't mean.
So you don't think that all
if
humans have the right to life?
Brain
So what is a
dead,
fetus?
but if they're brain dead, are they really alive?
Yes, biologically they are.
You know what? That's a determination that I would have to take with a medical doctor.
Say the same thing about women for abortion. Then.
No, I don't believe that a woman has that even right. That a woman should be able to get an abortion here in California.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
We have to pause there. You've been voted out.
Thanks for your time, Tish.
Okay, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the center chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi. Shannon, Dean, pleasure to meet you.
So I want to know why you think that killing babies should be legal.
Of course, because I'm a brutalistic Satanist and I love the DNC and I'm the leader of Antifa. Listen, the reason why I think abortion should be legal is because I don't think that abortion is morally wrong. I think it's a permissible action. And because I think it's a permissible action, I therefore don't see any good reason to infringe on a woman's bodily autonomy in the legal prevention of her access to abortion. Therefore, it's a human rights violation.
So you don't understand it as like killing, you don't think it's killing a human being?
No, I do.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't
You
see
don't
anything
think that
morally
we
wrong
should
with it.
focus
Interesting is some of them said they believe in the death penalty, but not killing the human being when it's a fetus. Apparently, it's like they're giving very mixed messages when they say stuff like that.
In my optimal society, there's 0 abortions. Okay, not because we're forcing women to not get them, but rather because the conditions in which lead women to get them don't exist, such as poverty, financial instability, a lack of sexual education, the failure of contraceptives. In my ideal society, those things wouldn't exist.
Do you know that if a woman gets pregnant, she's not financially able to keep the baby and she doesn't want the baby, she could at least take Plan B?
Yeah. And I think that would be a good fact of sexual education to share with the world.
It's like
that
20
Plan B
bucks.
exists. Well, I mean, actually, Plan B is $55. There's off-brand versions that are 20. And I think that is a good piece of recommendation. But ultimately, if they don't take a Plan B or whatever like happens after the pregnancy, they should be able to access abortion. Hey, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that victims of should be able to access abortion?
No, because they could also take a morning after pill if they get. If I were to get, I would go take a morning after pill the very next day.
Wow. So you think that a victim would have an obligation to maintain a pregnancy? Is that?
I mean, what if they're locked in the basement,
like cessate or stop the
like
pregnancy?
handcuffed to a radiator after the incident happened? I mean, it would be very hard to get Plan B when that happens, right?
14-year-old guy, and he's in dire need of a stem cell transplant. And this is a true story. You could look it up. And his stem cell type is so incredibly rare that his father set up a quote-unquote fundraiser for his son, taking random DNA samples in from people across the globe. So far, they've collected 40 million samples, and there hasn't been one match. What this means is that there's probably only one match alive on the face of planet Earth that could provide stem cells to Max Irby to save his life. So let's hypothetically assume that you are the one and only match for Max Irby's stem cell type, and the government finds this out. Then the government forces you to provide your stem cells to Max Irby without your consent for 9 months, introducing many physical and mental complications. Do you think that'd be just?
No.
No, because they shouldn't be able to force you to provide your bodily resources to another life, even if not providing your bodily resources would mean that other life dies. That's
I don't think he's going to get this. What the analogy or the parallel was making here.
And access to their bodily resources to the fetus, even if stopping the sustenance of those bodily resources to the fetus means the fetus dies. No difference than Max Irby.
This is a tough one for me because I have mixed feelings about it, obviously, because that's a horrible situation to be in. But I do, like I said earlier, morning after pill.
Well, could you respond to the argument I gave
we
you?
have to pause there. You've been voted out.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you for the respectful dialogue.
By the way, I want to tell you I respect you a lot.
Well,
I
thank
saw
you.
when you cried for Charlie Kirk. You actually have us all.
Have a good one.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
He respects him because he carries the flame.
Hello, I'm Georgia.
Georgia, pleasure to meet you. You
Nice
said
to
that you
meet you,
work
Dean.
for a pro-life org?
Yes, I do.
Very, very
All right,
interesting.
let's talk about it.
Do you guys
So-
focus on like preventative means from pregnancy in the first place? Like, do you guys have like policy initiatives to like reduce financial instability or poverty in young
So
women?
what abortion does is it incentivizes people to live in a promiscuous way that further increases the rates of pregnancies that are not in a stable situation like marriage. And so I'm actually against contraception.
Being pro-contraceptive would save the lives of more innocent babies under your view because then there'd be
So
less
killing an
unwanted
innocent human
pregnancies.
being is always wrong. Abortion kills an innocent human being. Therefore, abortion is always wrong.
Yeah, I reject P1.
And allowing abortion just reflects our overall decay as a society when it comes to the way we view sexuality, marriage, and it just leads to a culture of death.
No, it really is, yeah.
Abortion, it leads to things like MAID in Canada. What abortion is we're allowing the government to have the authority to define when personhood begins because we're separating it from the moment of conception. And if it's not at the moment of conception, then the most powerful person gets to decide when it begins. And that's always subjective. And when more powerful people have that authority or allow themselves to have that authority to define when personhood begins, you have grave travesties like slavery. If it's a subjective line, then when does that begin? When does personhood begin? And when you say it doesn't begin at conception, it's actually what you're arguing is a very suspicious, mystical idea of when it does. And that sounds more superstitious than Christianity.
Well, thank you for your comments. About your syllogism, I'd reject P1. Don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being.
To intentionally kill an innocent human being, you don't think it's always wrong to intentionally kill an innocent human
I mean,
being.
it depends on the human being. Some people deserve it.
I mean, we do that to brain dead patients all the time.
Okay, so that's to
And I would
withhold
like-
care from them
I would
that
like-
sustains their life.
Okay.
That's different than intentionally going there and killing
Okay,
them.
so then you're on board with the abortion pill, withholding the progesterone supplied through the umbilical cord that would sustain the life of the fetus.
I'm completely against the abortion pill.
But it's just withholding care that would sustain the fetus's life.
It's different though in nature because what we're
difference?
doing is what occurs in the uterus is solely for the service of the fetus. The uterus does not exist to serve the woman; they exist to serve the child. What abortion is it's just the actual destruction of that child.
I wanna ask you
It
a
reflects
question.
the destruction of our idea of parental duty.
I wanna ask you a
Parents
question.
have a duty to care for their children. What's your
I like the way she's wearing this. The image of destroying a child is more funnier than murdering a child, in my opinion.
And we know that pregnancy is not going to kill her. Per your syllogism that you gave earlier, it seems to be the case that you'd argue it would be wrong for her to get an abortion. Is this true?
Abortion only continues to perpetuate violence, the cycle of violence. It
Yeah.
only increases the trauma to that child. And what we would do, we would still try to minimize the trauma of pregnancy
But
for that
ultimately, no
9-year-old.
abortion.
I am completely against abortion in all cases, period. And that's
Even
that's
for-
the consistent pro-life stance.
Wow. What about when it's like the life of the mother on the line?
Okay, so that's nonsense. What we have is we have C-section. And so
What if it's before
the life of
viability?
that simply does not happen. That simply
What if
is
it
a
did?
lie.
Would you be okay with it?
There's no what ifs. Listen.
No,
So
it's a good
it
question.
simply
though.
does
And
not
by the way, it does
happen.
absolutely happen.
Okay, our medical technology is so sophisticated today.
Can you just answer the
This
question? Like, would you be
silly
okay with it?
idea that there is a black and white,
Yeah.
the life of the mother. The technology we have today is where we can operate on fetuses,
Okay.
and the child can continue.
If a medical health professional determines that a pregnant woman will die if she doesn't get an emergency C-section or
Okay,
abortion.
then do the emergency C-section,
it's
Dean. You just
before-
proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
Because it's
Yes, I
it's
did.
before viability.
Okay, when's viability?
which means-
Viability is based
Can
on
you-
technology.
I'm gonna go
Viability
ahead.
changes.
It is.
Viability
I
is
just
that
want
we
to
can-
ask.
She's constantly interrupting
One day
him.
viability might
So
be
the question
She doesn't want to actually answer his question,
I'd
does
like
she?
to ask you is, let's assume a woman is pregnant. It's before viability, per the technological innovations and standards in America, because that's where we
When
live.
does personhood begin, Dean?
I'll
When
happily
does it
answer your
begin?
question. Of
When
I
should
think
abortion be
personhood-
legal?
So I think that personhood begins around 20 through 24 weeks with a thymocortical
That's when
connection.
She's not even letting him ask his question. She's like, let me ask you like 10 more questions before you can say yours.
It's before viability, per like the technological innovation in America, and a doctor tells her that she needs to get an emergency C-section or abortion. It doesn't matter because either way it's going to kill the fetus. And the doctor says if she doesn't get this emergency C-section or abortion, then she's going to die would you be okay with her getting one? I just interested. It's I want to see where your ideological underpinnings fall.
So I noticed how that's one of your debate strategies. You corner us into these questions. I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
So what doctors do is they take an oath that says do no harm. Doing an abortion not only does obvious harm to the child by killing the child, but it actually does a lot of physical trauma to the mother.
Yeah, less trauma
It does a
than
lot of
childbirth.
trauma to the uterus. And not only that, but many women end up being suicidal after abortion.
Yeah.
But regardless of that,
Can you answer the question,
we have
though?
this very backwards view of the technology that we have now. There simply are not cases where women need to get abortions in
Notice
order
how
to
she's
save
not
their
answering the
life.
question.
Because it's not a scenario that actually exists. A lot of
Well,
these
then
doctors
I'd
are
highly
committing
implore you
medical
to do your
malpractice,
research.
and they're actually lying because
So,
they have an agenda. They don't-
If it were to happen, would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
Absolutely not, because that doesn't happen.
So if it did, you wouldn't be okay with her getting an abortion? That's
cases in
insane.
which it
Fuck.
does, see, we're talking
Okay, we got to
about
pause there. We're kind of at an impasse. We've also run out of time, so we're going to move on.
My next surrounded claim is Donald Trump is a terrible president.
All right, if you want to debate this claim,
Setting the bar pretty low there. That's a pretty easy thing to prove.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Yeah.
I don't know, let's see. Donald Trump is a terrible president because he slept his way to the top.
No, I actually think that
Remember that? That was
Well,
brutal. Hey, listen, floor's
he
yours.
didn't do that,
Why do
so-
you support Trump?
I think that he's obviously done a lot of things. I can't say he's a perfect person, but I do think he has done things to benefit us.
What is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
Closing the borders.
So that's not a macroeconomic indicator.
Yeah,
A
it is.
macroeconomic indicator would be something like GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, jobs reports. And by definition, a macroeconomic indicator is just simply a gauge that we could use to determine the health of the economy overall. So
Yes,
once again, speaking
absolutely.
about GDP growth, inflation, like wages,
Well,
so on and
health
so
of
forth.
the economy, if
What's
I can dive into that.
one indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden.
The amount of drug use and fentanyl in society has gone down
Okay.
miraculously because he has
That's-
closed the border and illegal drugs are no longer allowed to come in.
You understand the question I'm asking you?
Yeah, I do, and I'm answering it.
So the amount of people that use drugs in society could, of course, influence macroeconomic variables. Like if everybody was drugged up all the time, nobody could go to work, right? So therefore, the macroeconomic indicator of like unemployment would be really high. Okay, so it's not directly the macroeconomic indicator, but rather it's an influence of the indicators. So directly, what is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago? Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators are things like inflation, GDP growth, wage growth, real median wages, unemployment, job reports, so on and so forth.
Same thing. I'm going to go with drug use.
Stop, dude. Okay.
Dude, I'm a
Listen.
girl.
So what macroeconomic indicators did drug use influence? Are you saying that now we have like a lower level of unemployment because of that?
By closing the border and not allowing illegal people in here, giving me and so many other people.
She's really hung up on this border, isn't she?
Because
I mean, he hasn't even made Mexico pay for it yet.
immigrants, just like the weed farm.
That's the thing that he promised, and he still has not delivered on. The taxpayers are the ones paying
They
for it.
had children at the age of 9 years old illegally here working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are no longer allowed here, giving job opportunities.
There's also the fact that, you know, they seem to have such an issue with illegal immigrants coming over and doing cheap labor, but they have no issue with all the people hiring these illegal immigrants and forcing them to do labor for subpar wages.
The reason why mass
Which is probably the real problem they should be addressing, right?
Because ultimately, undocumented immigrants as a demographic are very economically productive. They pay over $100 billion in taxes
And
per
those
year on
jobs
the
are
federal,
now
state, and
open for
local
real
level,
Americans
and they
to
pay
have.
in $1.1 through $1.7 trillion to the GDP annually.
Don't.
And according,
They actually don't. Have you ever
So
met
that's
an
a
illegal immigrant that pays taxes?
so-
I'm sure.
Remember when they have the fact check next to them that, you know, tells them that they are indeed wrong and they aren't aware of it because it happened in post.
so Donald Trump's IRS is lying about how
It's
much.
not Donald Trump's IRS.
Well, that's what the IRS is saying today. Who's the president?
No, well, the
So who-
statistics. The
do you-
statistics
do you
came
know
in
who
from years
Scott
ago.
Besson
You've
is?
used that since the last time we were here.
Do you know who Scott Besson is?
No.
He's the administrator of the IRS. Do you know who he's appointed by?
Donald Trump. I'm
Donald
going to
Trump.
assume.
And Scott Besson and the IRS under Trump still report that. And listen,
And
it's
so you
not
don't
a
believe that
contestable fact.
removing a certain population can allow opportunities for others to come in. You
Because it
realize
makes the economy less productive.
I have family
Yeah.
that are refused opportunities, health care, and
Mm-hmm.
other resources due to the fact that it's oversaturated by people who do not have a citizenship here. And by
Yeah.
closing those borders and not allowing those people to come in, it gives them the space to have that.
But she does not give a shit about all the companies and people who are hiring and exploiting migrant workers, right?
They can, actually. They
Do you,
can.
do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I actually know that they can because I
Do
have
you know
family
what the
members
Personal
that can,
Work Order
that
and
can perfectly walk
Responsibility
in
Act?
and they can get checks month per month, living month per month, and we support that. Our tax tax dollars that we pay, we support
Can I
that.
get a yes or no? Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I believe it has something to do with jobs and paying taxes no matter your...
No. The Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is a bill from the 90s that strictly limits and prohibits any type of federal public welfare benefit
And
from
not
being given
everywhere follows
to
the law, obviously.
undocumented
Here in California, we have...
immigrants. I'm going to continue to speak. There was one slight addendum to this with Obama's EMTALA, which just says that undocumented immigrants can get life-saving emergency care if they need it. But the point is, when you suggest that undocumented immigrants are reliant on these federal systems of benefit,
And they are.
anyway,
They
from
are.
Medicaid to Medicare to Section 8 to food stamps, they're not. It is
They
literally
are. They
illegal for them to
absolutely
collect
are.
those benefits.
And they do anyways, because
listen,
states like
I-
California allow it.
So
we pay for it.
you're
I believe.
confused.
No, I'm not confused.
What you're confused
I know
about
exactly,
is a difference
I know
between
exactly what I'm talking
limited state-level benefits and federal benefits. So you're right.
about. But it still happens on some level. Can you acknowledge that?
In 10 of our 50 states, undocumented immigrants have the limited ability to collect
But
social safety nets.
that still is an ability, and,
And
my
that-
tax
and that's
dollars
fine.
in California are paying for it. Yes.
Well, actually,
can
their
we agree on
tax
that?
dollars pay for
Absolutely.
it because they pay $100 billion per
my
year in
tax
taxes,
dollars
and they
pay for
subsidize
it.
you.
And people like my brother with disability that
Yeah.
truly need those things are being cut.
They're completely different systems.
They're being absolutely not.
Yeah, they are.
Nope.
What's Medi-Cal?
Medi-Cal. My brother gets Medi-Cal, and they also get
No,
Medi-Cal.
it's specifically
yes,
a
they
system
do.
of benefit for undocumented immigrants that no longer
my,
exists.
my brother
Your
literally
brother's-
just got something in the mail
your
that
brother's-
says for Medi-Cal.
Your brother's on Medicaid.
No,
on
he's
the
not.
state
He's
level.
on Medi-Cal.
Listen,
honey.
the point that I'm trying to make here.
I'm filing for a conservatorship for my
So
brother. I would know exactly what he gets.
the point that I'm
and
trying to
it is
make
getting
here.
cut day by day because of the oversaturation and the overpopulation of people we don't even know exist.
Okay,
and
I'll
we
wait
are
for you to
paying
finish.
for them.
Okay.
So do we not acknowledge that by closing the borders, like I'm going to go back to my point, just like you like to do with everybody else, I'm going to go back to my point that by cutting that population off and allowing more space for opportunity for Americans would benefit the economy.
So you're saying that you pay for the benefits of undocumented immigrants when they're paying over $100 billion per year in taxes on the federal, state, and local level. Well, guess what? They're paying for their own benefits in the 10 limited states that give them. In
No, they're
fact,
do their jobs.
I mean, this is just anti-intellectualist propaganda. That's what the IRS says. That's what the Cato Institute, who's ran by libertarians, which is right-leaning,
that's
says.
disgusting for you to say.
Okay, we
I
have to
think it's
pause there. We have to
disgusting for
pause
you to be
there.
hating
You've been
on
voted
other
out.
Hater.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, nice to meet you. Mari
Hi,
Carmen Berman.
ma'am. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I want to talk to you about my point of view as a Mexican American Jewish. I'm not
Okay,
saying
interesting
Trump is
mix.
perfect, but I'm saying the reason I vote for him and I would vote again. First of all, I want to touch the point.
I'm
that
guessing
you
she
said
wants to be in
about
part of Latinos for Trump, right?
I'm talking about the drugs and the traffic that is coming from my country.
Mhm.
And it's from my government because Mexico has a narco government. You know who's the only one who has the guts to go right now and deal with the president? Trump. Because the other administration didn't do it.
Yeah.
Who went to bring Venezuela, Maduro to the jail? Trump. And this is affecting United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying everything he's doing is great.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I support Israel. Who is the only one who's supporting Israel? Trump.
She's one of the people that thinks that, like, you know, because
Let's support.
he voted for Trump, she's going to be one of the good ones, and she'll be an exception to the racism, essentially. Is what these people think.
Lebanon's, and let's make sure to throw $1 billion a day at a war that's killed 13.
I think she's probably a Zionist too and loves how much money Israel gets from the U.S.
Of, Joe Kent. Listen,
This is
okay,
the
here's
first
my point. I
ally
want to
of the
respond.
United States.
I want to
Is
respond to the first
Israel
thing.
is the first ally of United States. So we
Yeah,
have the
we
right to
shouldn't.
support Israel. And you know what? God said to Abraham, I will bless whoever bless you, and I will curse whoever curse you.
Yeah.
If you want to be blessed, and this country needs to be blessed, needs to bless Israel first.
Yeah.
Every single
Be the
country
prophet.
has been, every single country who has been cursed Israel is...
Unfortunately, yeah, she is a Zionist, which is a...
It's genuinely
It is
religious
what it is.
psychosis.
Do you
You're
see
saying-
how Chavez ended?
listen,
he
you're
cursed
saying-
Israel from the
you are
his
saying-
intestine. He said it.
You are
from it,
saying-
and he's dead.
Paying Israel makes me cursed. I must be the most cursed motherfucker on the planet right now.
Ethnic, expansionist, genocidal, terroristic state, or else we're all going to be cursed and die. I want to respond to the first couple claims that you made, specifically on topic with Venezuela and the border. So, who brings in 70 to 80% of the drugs into this country per the Homeland Border
Mexico,
Security?
Colombia, Venezuela. Who is bringing them?
Yeah.
Who is supporting them? It's Mexican country. And I'm sorry to say it. I love my country. But my government
Yeah.
is
Okay,
It's
I'll
disgusting.
respond.
It's
Thank
a
you. Thank you for your
narco-government.
response. So 70% of the drugs sold in America, brought into America, are brought in by citizens. Why do I bring this up? Because when we say that undocumented immigrants are the issue, they're the people that are just bringing all
Pretty
these
much,
drugs across the
right?
border, then they come here to like women and kidnap children and commit all these heinous violent crimes, is nothing more than the demonization of a demographic that's
Okay, I
actually very
never said
beneficial
all the
to this country.
undocumented people are the one who bringing
But that's what Trump has
to
said.
become citizens.
And that's why you shouldn't
I'm
support
not,
Trump.
I'm not telling you he's doing everything perfect. I
Yeah.
never say that. I'm talking about the borders that we have more than 2,000 miles border with
Yeah.
Mexico, and that's where they came the drugs, and that's
Yeah.
where they came this trafficking.
I don't listen.
People
I actually
trafficking
through legal ports of
and
entry for the
weapons
most part.
that
So
are
once
killing
again,
our people in the streets
so
right
one-
now.
So once again, a vast majority of the drugs brought across the border are brought in by citizens through legal ports of entry. And when I give you an explanation for this, it's going to make sense to you because think about it. Okay, when a citizen is coming in through a legal port of entry, okay, well, nobody just has the innate right per the state to pull them over, scrutinize them, check every nook and cranny of their vehicle
should.
because of our Constitution.
should.
But when they identify an undocumented immigrant, well, they already have an individual who's culpable of breaking federal law. So then they have all the rights in the world to detain them, arrest them, if they need to pat them down or check their vehicle. And that's why a lot of the drugs that come into this country will come in with citizens. But I think my larger point here is I don't think that Donald Trump has secured the border. I think that the reason why we've seen such a drastic decline in undocumented entry has nothing to do with proactive long-term border policy, but rather to do with fascism and human rights abuse. There are people in this country that are getting illegally deported and then tortured in places like CCOT. Executive Order number 14160 attempted to unconstitutionally reclassify citizens as undocumented immigrants to be lined up and deported by the DHS, where we're watching people like Alex Preddy get murdered in broad daylight by ICE agents.
I want to answer to you before you continue. You're talking about legal and deportation. I used to be a foster care liaison. When all these kids in cages, that was not true. I was there. They called us for an emergency meeting.
I mean, I watched the South Park episode about Mexican Joker.
Kids, meanwhile, they were reunified with their families.
I think she missed that one.
Families, yes, it was not true. There was in cages. That was just the media, what they wanted to portray.
So is your
what
argument that Executive Order number 14160 doesn't even exist?
What I'm saying is the media want to say what they want to say because they have already,
But this isn't coming from the media. It's coming from the White House
You've been voted
website.
out.
All right.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome in. I think we should start this off a little
I
bit.
didn't even sit down.
I know, I'm talking to you while you're standing up. Hi, okay. I'll slow
Hi.
it down. What's your name?
I'm Kaitia, but you can say Tia. It's a lot easier.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tia.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. Listen, I say we start this conversation off a little bit differently. Can I tell you why I think Trump is a terrible president?
That's what I was going to ask you. I would love to know, actually.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I break it down to the three main categories. His domestic policy, his foreign policy, and his character, okay? He is the worst president of my life, the worst president of your life, and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. Let's start by evaluating his character. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that has boasted about perverting the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say because of the time on the clock. I'll keep it concise. We look at his domestic policy. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We got one of the worst jobs report in modern American history last year, adding only 170,000 jobs to the economy after adding 2.2 million under Biden in 2024. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day one. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional...
I'm glad she's not interrupting him during this, and she's actually listening to him. I think she's supposed to actually listen to him.
Just to deflect away from the Epstein files. And this holistically...
Look, everyone else has interrupted him before he can say any of this.
Okay, thank you. So I haven't been in politics that long as far as like interest. It was like 2016 really opened my eyes. I never thought Trump had a chance, honestly. But I do seem to remember in 2016, a lot of the dialogue around his win was he only won because America's racist. Basically saying everyone who voted for him was racist. This is after 8 years of Obama, by the way, who got reelected. So based on that, and after 4 years...
It's not that everyone who voted for Trump is a racist. It's the fact that all the racists voted for Trump. There's a distinction there that needs to be made.
Those terrible presidents in our lifetime.
Okay, yeah, I'll give a direct hit to that question. I first want to ask a clarifying one. Do you think that Biden was a bad president?
I don't want to talk about Biden because that's not why we're here.
Right. Okay. Well, I'd expect your answer to that question to be no, of course, but Biden got the most votes out of any president in history. We can't say just because people were willing to vote for a candidate to be president, that therefore they were the best option. The reason why I think that Trump won the election had a lot to do with propaganda surrounding the negative economic impacts of the pandemic, okay? We saw 9% high levels of inflation, roaring gas prices, and I don't think that these things were caused by Biden. But Biden never was really too publicly outspoken about that, and I think that was a messaging problem with the Dems. The second reason why I think that Donald Trump won had to do with the fact that Kamala Harris only had a little bit over 100 days to run, which I also blame on Biden. He should have stepped down a lot sooner. But
genuinely, Biden screwed over everyone else around him.
Because he's a good president, and that's undeniable. Has your life gotten better in the last year and a half?
My life has gotten better,
and how has Trump made it better? Tell me, specifically.
I honestly do feel safer with him president. I mean, we can beat a dead horse with the closed border. That means a lot to me. Like, I'm a mom. I have kids. It's important to me that, and I live in LA, which is like crazy, right? Do you live out here or no?
No, I don't. But you would be safer to leave your children with the average undocumented immigrant compared to the average citizen. They're 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes compared to the average U.S. citizen.
In my home with me, that's why I homeschool, and that's why I'm a mom, and my children come first. So for me, being able to do that is a blessing. There's a lot of sacrifices that come with that, especially in this economy. I would be lying if I didn't say, like, it's difficult with the gas prices. It's difficult with the groceries and the tariffs. There's a lot of things. Yeah, similar with Biden, there was a lot. Inflation has not increased in the same amount as it did under Biden.
Yeah, pretty much. She actually had a very good campaign in the short amount of time that she had to pull one together.
About how much it cost.
If he had more prep time, like Batman, she could have won.
Did to Ukraine and what?
How much money did we send to Ukraine?
What it
over
did
4 years?
to affect our economy, and also with the undocumented immigrants.
How much money did we send to
Ukraine? They are getting Medi-Cal. They were getting money for food and free housing.
How much money did we send to Ukraine in 4 years under Biden?
You tell me.
$220 billion approximately.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you're going to blame Biden's 9% high level of inflation on $220 billion spent over the course of 4 years, then why don't we see like 50% levels of inflation, considering the fact that in the last year and a half, Donald Trump has passed the Big Beautiful Bill, which according to most estimates, is clocked in to cost us around $3.4 trillion over the course of 10 years. Or the simple fact that he's spending $1 billion a day on a war in Iran. He's going to spend just as much money on this war in Iran as
I disagree. I think he's going to spend more.
In less than a year.
I think
and on
that's
top of that,
something we
the
have to
cherry
wait
is
and see.
Donald Trump has continued the funding to Ukraine.
And I think the important
blaming
thing
a 9%
is,
high level of inflation on $220 billion worth of expenditure is nuts, especially when we consider that the Biden-Harris administration spent half of what the Trump administration spent in their first term.
I get what you're saying, and I think both of us, at the end of the day, we want what's best for America. I think we have different plans or strategies to get there. But the main thing I did want to come up here and say, I don't think you really answered it, was if Trump was the worst president in our lifetime, how did he win twice, if not 3 times, depending on who you talk to? Exactly. So if he was...
The fact that he's still calling himself the secret president that happened during the Biden era is actually insane.
I've been told I'm internalized racism,
Do you want me to be
internalized
honest?
misogyny. I would love for you to be honest.
I don't think that anybody in the circle is particularly intelligent.
Okay, and I understand that that's how people see us.
Yeah, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop there. You've been voted out. Thank you. Return to your seat.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Tia.
A lot of MAGA people believe that during the Biden era, Biden wasn't really the president. It was Trump secretly controlling everything the whole time.
Hi.
Yet somehow during that time, Biden is also the one that screwed everything up. Even though he wasn't really the president somehow.
Duty in the United States Marine Corps. I'm not here on
Be careful, hashtags.
I'm not here on behalf of the Department of War, by the way. I also grew up in Jerusalem, Israel. And I think that Trump has done a lot for me personally, and I feel like that's what we should all be here speaking about to an extent. I've gotten paid more under him. I've gotten bonuses under him. The military has tightened up under him. And from that perspective, he's my commander-in-chief, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Out of everybody sitting in the circle, you have the most reason to not support Trump. Could I tell you why?
I would love to know why.
Because of your oath. You took an oath to defend the Constitution from enemies overseas and domestic, correct?
Correct.
Can we agree that an enemy to the Constitution, domestic or foreign, would be a person who thinks that the Constitution should be terminated, is intentionally and belligerently infringing upon it?
Can you go in depth with that, please?
Well, I mean, I think that is all the context that would be required to understand an enemy. If there's somebody that is intentionally and belligerently infringing on the Constitution, has suggested that maybe we should terminate it before, can we agree that person would be an enemy to the Constitution?
That would be an enemy. I do agree with you, but I don't agree with you if you're saying that's what Trump has done.
December of 2022, Trump went on Truth Social and said that because of the 2020 election, the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, including those found within the Constitution, would be allowed. And in the last year and a half of his presidency, he has directly infringed on the 14th Amendment, threatened the first, threatened the second, infringed on the fourth, infringed on the 10th, and
Just wondering how if Obama did any of this stuff,
Article 1 and 2.
they would absolutely never fucking let him live it down. They would be attacking him for it constantly. If they even did a fraction of that.
Just because you're stating all these things, kind of like a fact check, but he hasn't actually put those in place.
Executive Order number 14160 was put in place. It attempted to take birthright citizenship away from the children born to undocumented immigrants on American soil. But that is a long withstanding ruling from SCOTUS, regardless of its Plyer v. Doe in 1989, saying that undocumented immigrants are within the jurisdiction of the U.S., or U.S. versus Wonkamark in the late 19th century, arguing that the only people who do not have a constitutional claim to birthright citizen would be members of militant invading forces, foreign diplomats, and Native Americans, which was later updated through federal law. We know for a fact that the 14th Amendment covers the protection of birthright citizenship for the children born to undocumented immigrants. Donald Trump says, well, I'm going to change that, and passes an illegal, unconstitutional executive order stating otherwise. That is a domestic threat to our Constitution, that you as a member of our DOJ, as an active duty service member of the Marines, should absolutely protest and stand in wide opposition against.
So that I would not agree makes him a domestic enemy.
Like I said, it's a sunk cost fallacy. They don't want to admit to being wrong because they'd be embarrassed about it. So they're doubling down and going all in on it.
Us in that military aspect. I don't think so. If you could give me an example of how so, as far as like immigration and all these people who have joined the military to get papers for their parents and stuff like that, whether they were born here or not, it's been in effect and it's been very helpful for them.
What were your thoughts on Donald Trump calling for the execution of 6 sitting Democrats in Congress who reminded you to abide by your oath?
6 what?
6 sitting Democrats in Congress posted a video saying, if you're given a legal order, you don't got to follow it. And you should know that's what the UCMJ says.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Donald Trump called for their execution because of that.
I don't know much about that, honestly.
I'll tell you. So
yeah, please do.
He went on Truth Social. He responded to an article talking about these 6 Democrats in Congress who posted a video saying like, oh, you remember your oath, don't follow any unlawful orders if Trump were to give you one. And he calls them seditious traitors. Follows it up by saying traitors punishable by death. And then he reposts a follower's comment that says, hang them, George Washington would. Okay? So he falsely accuses them of a crime they didn't commit. You and me could agree it's not treasonous to tell the military not to follow unlawful orders. UCMJ once again. And then he says, well, because of this crime that he's accusing them of that they didn't commit, they need to be hung. That's him directly calling for the execution of 6 Democrats in Congress that were just simply reminding you of the UCMJ.
Depends on what he meant when he said they need to be hung, right? Because that's a word that has, well, a phrase that has more than one meaning.
With the UCMJ,
maybe he was referring to how well endowed they are. Like they must be, right?
If our military
they must be
leader,
hung.
and for example, Donald Trump is one of them. But if they go against what the UCMJ does, we are allowed to go against that.
Yeah.
And so
that's all the Dems were saying. And then he said they needed to die because they said that.
No.
Yes. He said
he said what?
Quote,
who needed to die?
These Democrats. He said that their sedition is punishable by death. Okay, the sedition that they didn't commit. And then he followed that up by reposting a comment that said, hang them, explicitly, hang them. That was him calling for their execution. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I feel like you're maybe one of the more reasonable people that I've spoken with today. You should be able to see this so clearly. And maybe this might even be an historical moment here on Surrounded where I'm able to change the mind of a guest on the show. That'd be huge.
That would be huge if it was going to happen, but it's not.
Oh, my goodness.
I hate how confident she is about being ignorant. Oh, my God.
My final Surrounded claim is Donald Trump
that was painful.
About any of you.
If you want to debate Dean's claim, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Dean.
Okay, well, I think that my claim here is clear. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about anybody in this circle. What I mean by that is just Donald Trump generally doesn't care about women. He's a very misogynistic asshole.
Promises made, promises kept.
Opposite.
Number one, he's got more women on his cabinet than most presidents did.
I mean, he's been getting rid of them. They're not there anymore.
I think it does. Every person he's fired so far has been a
woman.
woman.
You fire them. Pam Bondi did nothing.
Yeah, she was a terrible AG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She did, and he didn't like that, so he fired her.
Yeah. I think that she was a terrible AG for preventing the release of the files. I digress. I'm interrupting you. Sorry, go ahead.
And he pardoned the J6ers, like he said he would.
Yeah.
And now he created a weaponization fund, which I think is great. And he forego all his money, which is $10 billion, and he took $1.7 billion. 1776 to give to the people that refused to take shots, that were fired because they didn't want to get the vax, that were targeted by the Biden DOJ, grannies that were thrown in prison, people that literally just stepped foot on the Capitol grounds and were thrown in prison for years.
Yeah.
No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and the lowest prescription prices that we've ever had.
Okay.
Safe borders, no more child trafficking.
Okay. Listen,
He cares about us.
Let's start with that $1.8 billion slush fund.
Yeah.
You said it was his personal money. That's not true. It's funded by the taxpayers.
It's owed to him.
Secondarily, it is an absolute disaster.
Just like all the money comes from
It's crazy that our president is willing to give $1.8 billion to people such as the J6 terrorists.
Well, they're not terrorists.
Well, I mean, I think they are. For instance, there were
you there?
176 people who were criminally convicted of deadly assaults on police officers. Take, for example, DJ Rodriguez, who drove a stun gun into Officer Fanone's neck while Officer Fanone was on the
I love how
ground.
quickly these guys stop caring about police officers when it comes to January 6th, right?
And then DJ
They always defend, obviously the bootlickers, they always defend police officers and everything in every instance, apart from when it comes to January 6th.
Are you familiar with Roseanne Boylan? She was beaten to death by an officer, Lila Morris. Okay, nobody talks about that. Ashley Babbitt was killed, shot in the neck. She was an unarmed woman, a military woman. There was no need for that. We went there. People went there peacefully and patriotically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why they were screaming, "Hang Mike Pence," right?
Well, yeah, but nobody that I've
Was
seen.
that peaceful?
There was a lot of infiltrators. There was over 300 FBI agents.
Pretty sure if I said that about any politician, I'll probably get arrested for that.
Exactly. Who's FBI? Right.
Who was
Everybody
president?
says that.
Who was president on
But
J6?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
I read about that the
Because
other day
it was
when they
Donald
said,
Trump.
I read that and read it. Who's
And by the
FBI?
way, who did Trump
It was-
pardon? Did he
it was
pardon the
under
Antifa
Obama.
infiltrators?
It was under Obama.
Obama was
That's
president
right.
on J6?
He wasn't Obama. He wasn't president on J6. President Trump was.
Oh, my
But
God.
Obama's the one who's been trying to persecute.
Contradicting herself here, holy shit.
Since day one with the Russian dossier, yeah.
So Obama infiltrated Trump's FBI
He's
and
the one.
implanted...
Not just
Obama's too busy enjoying his retirement to do any of this shit.
Nancy Pelosi.
But they just love blaming him.
Then why? Well, listen. Here's the real
Why didn't
litmus
they have
test.
National Guard?
Well, apparently Donald Trump had the ability to call them there, and this
He
has been
tried
proven
to.
by his second term. According to Donald Trump's second
Did you
term,
not hear-
he doesn't need to try to send the National
Did
Guard.
you
It's
not-
Well, how much they want to blame Obama for when the man legitimately is guilty for a lot of war crimes they could
all the J6 Antifa
rightfully
terrorists that
criticize
were
him
infiltrating
for,
crime.
but they don't want to.
Know that there was over 300
So-
people dressed up as
So do we
Trump
agree that
supporters.
everybody who was criminally convicted on J6 has since been pardoned by Trump?
I believe so.
So Donald Trump pardoned Antifa terrorists?
And
now he's offering them
a
$1.8
lot of them
billion.
didn't get charged, though.
Prove
a
it.
lot of the Antifa people didn't get
Why
charged.
don't you give me some evidence for that, ma'am?
Well, I don't. Did Ray?
So you don't
Epps
believe
get
in
charged?
so you don't believe in things, right? Without
I
evidence.
believe in
so what's the
facts.
evidence?
I believe in facts.
Okay, so
just like Donald Trump cares about
spell
the
it.
American people.
Maybe we should get
America
back to that.
first. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, we got to pause there. You've been voted out.
have a good one.
All right. If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. Would you like to carry on with why you think that?
Trump doesn't care about you, doesn't care about anybody in the circle, because he generally doesn't care about women. He has had a lifetime of vapid misogyny, like the fact that he's a sexual predator, that he's a rapist, that he's overturned policy that has led to 60 pregnant victims per day being denied access to abortion in 10 of every 50 states, or an attack.
It's going to be a fun question to ask these women.
is worse off today than
If
it
they
was
believe
when
Donald Trump has ever paid for a woman to get an abortion.
I don't think he cares about you.
He almost took
I think that would be a fun hand grenade to throw into this little debate circle.
and he's faced so many assassination attempts.
Yeah.
He faces threats, as you should know. I mean, you cried with Charlie Kirk.
I mean, listen.
They brought it up again.
Specifically, this will be 10 seconds or less so we could get back to the topic.
That's what he's known for these days, with being the guy that cried about Charlie Kirk. Even amongst the right-wing people.
He FaceTimed me running away, saying, Dean, I think that there's a mass shooting going on. And regardless of the fact that I didn't like Charlie Kirk, I'll be honest, I think that he's despicable. He endorsed child torture. I still saw a video of somebody that I personally knew, get their jugular ripped open by a bullet. It was rough. And yeah, I shed a tear. That was very intense. But listen, the
I think
topic
it really
is,
humanized you.
the topic is, Donald Trump doesn't generally care about women. He doesn't give a shit about anybody in the circle. You're arguing that, well, maybe he does care about women because he took a bullet
Why
for
would
you.
he put his life on the line if he didn't care?
Well, I think the reason why he's willing to apparently
stage.
take a bullet to the ear.
You reckon they're ready for that conversation?
That demonstrated through his actions, words, and policy, which obviously hasn't.
I don't think they are.
He took a bullet because it was either the bullet or the jail cell for his 34 felonies, attempted coup on J6, and he wants that power, he wants that adoration, he wants that glory, he wants that fame, he wants his name to be in the history books. That's why he's illegally placing his name on the Kennedy Center or attempting to commit the conquest of America, usurping Iran to be the 51st state, Venezuela to be the 52nd, and Canada to be the 53rd. That's what he wants to get out of it. He doesn't want to help you, or once again, we'd see that represented through his policy, which we don't.
I vehemently disagree with that.
Huh?
He cares for law enforcement. He cares for firefighters, mothers trying to get pregnant. And it's disheartening that the way you describe Trump, it's like you're describing a leader in the Middle East, someone that's an actual dictator, an actual fascist.
I mean, the difference between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un is next to negligible at this point.
This is the best country in the world, and we're so lucky to have Donald Trump as a president. And I'm disheartened that you can't see that.
Okay, you said that he cares about law enforcement. Then why did he pardon 178 people who attempted to assault or kill cops on J6?
On January 6th.
Yeah, he pardoned, like we went over this earlier. DJ Rodriguez, okay, drove a stun gun into Officer Fanone's neck. Gave him a heart attack. He had to be raced off to the hospital. DJ Rodriguez was then thrown in jail for 10 years. Trump says he's a patriot, gives him a full and complete presidential pardon, and has now created a $1.8 billion slush fund that's going to line DJ's pockets. Dude, there's no way he cares about cops if that's what he's willing to give to a would-be cop killer.
Well, honestly, I don't know all the details of that.
If everything that I just said
I
was
mean, he just gave you the
we can
details.
see that Donald Trump does not care about law enforcement.
I would be curious why I don't know what information he has that I don't, so I would have to place my trust in the President of the United States.
Blind trust and faith. This is literally cult behavior.
There, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat. If you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Liz.
Hi.
All right, well, I mean, you know my thoughts. I think that Trump is the worst president of your life, and I think that he consistently demonstrates that through his rhetoric and policy. What are your thoughts?
I love Trump. And honestly, I love everything that Trump is doing with Israel. I'm Jewish. I'm very pro-Israel. I know how you feel about Israel, but I feel like you probably don't know the facts. I also love what Trump is doing with Iran, because if he does care about women, he wants to free the women of Iran from the Islamic regime. He wants to free the women all around the world.
Yeah.
And tell me what you like about Iran or Palestine and how they treat women.
Well, I actually want to start off with a claim that you made about Iran. Is Donald Trump negotiating with the IRGC to achieve a denuclearization agreement today?
There's no negotiating with terrorists.
Okay, well, according to Trump, that's not true. He says that there are active ongoing negotiations and they're performing greatly.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so so the reason why I ask you this question is because the IRGC isn't going anywhere. Because Donald Trump has already said that he's achieved all of his military objectives in this war. He's already, quote unquote, couped the IRGC and committed regime change by just getting more, quote unquote, moderate voices to lead the IRGC. And now he's actively negotiating like a 30 to 50 year agreement with them so they will never have the ability to nuclearize again. What this means is that Donald Trump actually wants the IRGC to stay in charge of Iran, or else this denuclearization effort that has costed us 13 lives, $1 billion a day, and higher gas prices and oil prices everywhere would be for
Donald
nothing.
Trump wants
And
to
because the
completely
IRGC is
annihilate
not
the
going,
IRGC.
then he wouldn't be negotiating with him. He wouldn't be trying to get a deal with them. You don't advocate to get a deal with a party that you don't think should exist.
Here's the thing. Islam right now is taking over all of these countries. They've taken over most of Europe. They're starting to take over in the United States. He has to do this in a very careful manner. There are billions of Islamists who are trying to take over they will not stop until they have infiltrated every country.
This
Their
is so
words,
disgusting.
not mine. How it's literally what they say.
It's so
They say they will not
gross.
stop until
No.
Islam is in every single household.
This
is very fucking Islamophobic, isn't she?
Israel, and that is why Trump is going to do everything he can in his power to annihilate the IRGC, which is what.
Yeah, she's very pro-genocide, isn't
First
she?
and foremost, if I could compulsorily puke on this table without getting you dirty, I probably would, because everything that you just said was legitimately disgusting.
How is that
First and
disgusting?
foremost, for you to demonize and turn all Muslim people alive
Not all Muslim. No,
into
no,
this
no.
into this model.
Islamists,
You said that
extreme
there was.
Islamists.
You said that there were billions of Islamists infiltrating
are.
every crook and cranny of the world.
But they are.
So I think.
Have you traveled?
Listen,
This woman is
Where
fucking
have you gone to
insane.
travel to
let me
internationally?
respond to what you said.
Or have you gone to New York?
I think
where
that
they're literally doing prayer in the streets.
Yes, if you pray in public.
What's wrong with people praying?
Holy Christian evangelical that put their hand on Trump's shoulder in the Oval Office on camera.
It's
Christian people pray in public all the time too.
Exactly. When it's about Jesus, no, listen to what I'm saying here.
Don't want to go
Listen
into
to
every
listen to
single
what I'm saying
country
here.
and take over.
Listen to what I'm saying here. When it's about
Jewish
Jesus,
people don't go into every single country and try and take over.
Oh, right, and that's why they're going into the West Bank. That's why they're going into Gaza. That's why they're going in Lebanon. Listen to what I'm saying here.
Out of Gaza
Listen
in
to what I'm saying here.
2005. Get your facts straight.
And what's going on in the West Bank today?
Hamas has literally been in charge of Gaza since 2005.
And what's going on in the West Bank today?
It is a recognized terrorist organization.
And what's going on in the West Bank?
Israel literally has backed out. When you have people, you have a tiny little country the size of New Jersey. You have every single country around attacking it. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, let's hone this in. Well, what I wouldn't want to happen is like vapid war crimes.
Do you
like,
think that?
I mean, they wouldn't be attacking Israel if Israel wasn't constantly attacking them and antagonizing them, right?
A country is a collective of people. Countries in and themselves are not moral entities.
Explain
I am explaining it to you. Let me speak. I don't want you to interrupt me. I want to answer your last question. You asked me a good one. You said, Dean, do you think that Israel has a right to exist? I think that question is incomprehensible. And the reason why I say that question is incomprehensible is because a state is not a body in which has rights. People are entities in which have rights. A collective of people collectively have a right to self-determination. But the social construct of a state and a government is just a figure of our imagination through the collective of civilization, not an entity in which has rights.
How many Jewish people live in Palestine?
I want to be able to respond to everything.
Quite a lot, actually. Back before, before Israel fucking stole the land, Jewish people and Muslim people literally lived together without any issue.
Over every statement that has left your mouth, particularly the first statement that you made about the billions.
Only when they decided they wanted an ethno state, they realized, oh, we need to kill the other people first.
They pray in public. I call them radical because they literally say that they will not stop until Islam is in every single household in every country, and they have completely taken over. And you can see them say that everywhere.
I think that every mainstream religion, wishes that everybody on earth agreed with their religion.
Not at all. No.
Yes, of course they do. Let me explain to you why.
Christians
are you a Christian?
I'm Jewish.
Okay, here, listen. I'm going to ask a question to the Christians in the circle. Do you guys think that the only way to get to heaven is to have faith in the gospel?
Absolutely. Jesus Christ.
Amen. And now, I want you to put your flag down, if you don't want everybody to go to heaven. Everybody still has their flag up. What that tells me is that everybody with their flags up thinks that the only way to get to heaven is to be a Christian, and they want everybody to go.
That's a clever way he's done that, actually. That's actually pretty clever.
Everybody to be a Christian. So from this guest's line of argumentation, everybody with their flag up is a radical extremist, no different than the Islamists that want everybody alive to believe that.
I don't think they're going to like the fact that they just proved his argument.
For the circle. All of the Christians in the circle, do you believe that if someone does not recognize Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, that they should be killed?
No. Based.
Islam does.
So,
I mean, Jesus is mentioned in the Quran. Muslims do believe in him.
Argument to rebuttal. Listen, I agree that when you read the Quran.
Do you know what's actually interesting? Jesus doesn't die in the Quran. In the version there, he doesn't actually die and come back to life. So they've got a happy ending. Because what happens in the Quran is when Jesus is set to be crucified, God takes him up to heaven in the Quran so he doesn't get killed. God swoops in and saves him at the end. That's a major difference. I think the Quran version's actually got a better ending than the Christian one of him being put in a cave and then he comes back and says, by the way, I'll be back later. Wait for me. And then just doesn't show up again.
In the hadiths through a particularly fundamentalist scope, you could absolutely yield the conclusion that we should kill everybody that's not a Muslim, 110%. And I disagree with that fundamentalist interpretation of the Quran and the hadiths. And I think the people who don't are crazy. But we could do the same thing to the Christian Bible. When we look at the Christian Bible and we read it through a fundamentalist scope, well, then all of a sudden, it is totally okay to own slaves because of Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46. Genocide is totally fine sometimes because of 1 Samuel 15:3. And sometimes it's okay to impregnate kids because the historical representation of Mary's age under a fundamentalist scope. Under a fundamentalist scope is that Mary was around 13. And the reason why I'm giving you the fundamentalist interpretation of the Christian Bible isn't to shit on Christianity as a whole, but is rather to say that when you read any religious text through that fundamentalist perspective, you could always yield grave immoralities like slavery, pedophilia, or killing people.
He's just a massive fucking racist.
But the thing is that a lot of
this bitch is racist.
Muslims don't hold to that fundamentalist.
He just really hates Muslim people.
Religious texts that yield those grave immoralities and rather practice their
religion. He legitimately probably cheers for when they announced in the news that Israel has once again bombed the hospital full of children.
People who had to flee around 47 years ago, who are still suffering to this day, people all around the world, because the Islam extremists, the ones who are also in charge of a lot of these countries, will kill you. They will behead you. They will do whatever they can to harm you if you do not believe with what they believe in, if you do not agree.
That sounds like America to me right now.
Is the one and only, Islam is the only religion, and that should be allowed in the world.
How is it different from the US right now?
Today
We are.
with Islam, and that's where the issue
With
lies.
Islam okay, we're going to stop there. We're out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the dialogue.
All right. I just want to give snaps to everybody in the circle so far. Good job. Dean, snaps to you. Good job. Let's take a breath. It's been a heated episode. For the last portion of this video, I ask that you look around the circle and select somebody who you want to come back to the center and debate their claim with.
Oh God. See, there's so many options here. I don't know. People might hate me at home for this one. I wanted to respond to what she had to say. Yeah, let's do it. Get up here.
Yes. Well, I'll give you credit. You're brave to pick me, so that's good.
Or dumb.
My surrounded claim is that Democrats sold our country out.
Can I have an explanation of what you mean when you say that?
I mean,
well,
depending on where she goes with, she could be right.
Open border policies, you know,
I
sanctuary.
don't think she'll go in the right direction with it, but
Unconstitutional. Thank God we have Sheriff Chad Bianco running for governor. Hopefully we'll eliminate that. You know, they said Russia, 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 right? About President Trump. Well, who sold our uranium to Russia? And I love when Trump was talking to all of these European countries. He says, you guys keep screaming Russia, Russia, Russia. Why aren't you buying oil from us? Why are you buying it from Russia? So there's so many good things that Trump has done, and the Democrats have completely, like, I'm from Iran originally. The fact that Obama gave boatloads of cash to that evil regime makes me so angry. So I love that Trump annihilated General Soleimani and a proxy guy in Iraq, offed him because he killed 10,000 people, including women and children.
oh, does she know about what Netanyahu's been doing? I wonder.
Yeah, so I am so happy for.
Oh, she's gonna lose her fucking mind when she finds out what Netanyahu has been doing.
Benjamin Netanyahu with the intelligence that they brought in and the weapons, and they are our only allies, and the liberals hate Israel.
Yeah.
This was like, it could have been World War III if we didn't get rid of this stuff. You and I might not be here the next 5-10 years.
You should hate Trump then.
Oh, I should love him because he just stopped World War III. He stopped the deep state.
I don't know. It seems like he really wants to start World War III.
And that's what Marxists do. That's what Marxists do. They have no grip on reality. They have no God, and they don't understand what's actually going on because they're more concerned about putting men in women's bathrooms in their sports.
Oh my goodness. What's a communist? Can you define that word?
Yeah, it's somebody that thinks that we should not have our own private property. So the government gets to choose, which is, I don't want the government to be my mommy and daddy, okay? It's supposed to be a representative government, which is called a constitutional republic. We are not a freaking democracy.
Okay. Well, we're not a democracy.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, go look at John Adams and what he said about democracies.
So first and foremost, you weren't necessarily right about what a communist is. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. Now, on to your second point here about
and
us
did
not
it
being
work?
a
Did it work? Have
democracy.
you watched Dr. Zhivago?
Can I respond? So you said that we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic.
Correct.
So a constitutional republic would be a type of representative democracy. And what I mean when I say that is these two phrases are used interchangeably. Because under a republic, we have duly elected leaders that then represent, the interests of the constituents of the nation. Under a representative democracy, we have duly elected leaders that represent the constituents of the nation.
A democracy is minus a constitution and the rule of law. So
what?
So it's basically, if you're saying you're a democracy, the 51% could go and kill off the 49%.
That's called a direct democracy.
So, but pure democracy.
When Donald Trump said that he took a bullet for the American democracy, he was wrong?
Well, he likes to use that word, I think, to reach out to the Democrats. Right? I believe he's wrong because I don't believe we're I don't believe we're a democracy. I don't like the word democracy. Right. I have a twitch when I hear the word because
it's almost just like you go crazy.
It's democracy, hypocrisy, bureaucracy. I mean, it's just
now another claim they made there is that about
you want to throw up, I want to throw
I think you made the wrong choice bringing her back.
Yeah, MAGA. So listen.
Okay, you said MAGA like a swear word. Why did you say that like a swear word? Isn't that a good thing? Make America
you could have picked better for the last
One
one.
thing is saying that you're making America great again by taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans like Trump did, taking food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans.
He got rid of the fraud in the healthcare.
Can I speak?
Yeah, but
Like a couple of the other women actually had like decent conversations with them. You could have brought them back.
Okay.
Composure is important, ma'am.
You're going to talk down to me? I'm your elder. You have respect for your elder.
So,
I think you purposely picked the dumbest one because you thought you can get like a more viral clip out of it, I guess.
You asked me, why do I use MAGA like a swear word? Because Donald Trump has used that phrase, make America great again, to represent actions like taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill. Per the reports from the Congressional Budget Office, which is ran by Republicans, liberal estimates are a little bit higher at like 17 million people. Took food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill as well. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, he reduced the purchasing power of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year. He refused to abide by a court order to pay out food stamp benefits for 12 million starving children in America during the last 12 days of the government shutdown. Okay, he's abused his power and privilege as the president to position himself above the law. One of the last things that you said when you were up here on the last prompt was, oh, I thought everybody was above the law, except for Trump, okay? A couple weeks ago, we woke up in a new America with a new system of justice where you and Trump could commit the same crime, tax fraud. You could be thrown in jail for it, and he can't even be investigated for it because of his deal with the IRS. And all of those things, when they are used to represent the claim, make America great again, absolutely do make MAGA a slur. It's embarrassing to be MAGA. I mean, get a grip, you guys. Get a grip. And I said a lot there. I'll let you to respond. But I have so much else to say. You know, like you were talking about like how we need to prevent Iran from getting nukes. We're at a worse place with Iran today than we were 10 years ago.
Not true.
Thanks to Donald Trump.
Not
Obama
true.
got us an agreement to prevent
I
them
mean,
from
they are
nuclearizing
literally at war. I think that is a worse place than they were before when they weren't at war.
Signature on it. And about the whole respect your elders thing. So you can't expect me to respect you because you're older than me. If you're going to turn around and call Biden a good American man with great domestic policy, one of the best presidents in modern American history, a crazy lunatic, evil man with a crackhead son, even though he's 30 years your elder.
Ukraine. It's on record. He said, I'm not going to get, you're not going to get the $1 million loan unless you stop this investigation to Burisma, which his son was a part of and had zero experience.
That's illegal. That's extortion. Why isn't he in jail?
So he should be. But
why is it Trump throwing him in
because
jail?
the deep state have the judges, they have so much. They've infiltrated this country.
I mean, aren't the judges like appointed by Trump?
Why doesn't he use one of them to get Biden thrown in jail?
Because unfortunately, he doesn't get to pick which judge is used. And a lot of these judges are just evil.
Why doesn't he even try? He hasn't tried.
There's been so many lies coming from your mouth. I'm like twitching over there. Every lie
Why
that I hear.
The DOJ
You
try to get
said
an
people
indictment
died
against
on.
him?
He's not aware of the fact that she's the one getting fact-checked constantly as well, though.
I said that they tried to kill cops.
No, they did not try to kill cops.
Yes, they
it
did.
was self-defense. They were being attacked. 4 patriots died that day, and you don't hear anything except for the one that got shot by the cop. Yeah.
How about this? Can I ask you a question?
There's 4 of them that died, and 0 cops died that day. 1 cop died the next day at 9:30. Oh, that was a lie. And I feel bad for people like you in your age because
I think it's unfair that they get to kill civilians all the time, but civilians don't get to do the same. I think we should have like a program where innocent people are allowed to, get their own back in a way.
Be aborted. You'd be like, "Mommy, please."
Like some kind of equivalent exchange sort of program we should have set up.
There's just a bunch of, it was a big mess. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and start off with this.
Only fair, right?
General questions about your political beliefs, because I believe that you hold them without much information. Name one domestic policy that the Biden-Harris administration influenced to get passed through Congress, then signed into law that you don't like. Keep in mind, once again, policy is a bill passed through Congress and signed into law.
So I don't know that. I just know what he
How
was
many
saying.
amendments are there in the Constitution?
The fact.
How many amendments are there in the Constitution?
I don't know exact off the top
You don't know
of my
how many
head.
articles?
Okay, can I?
How about this?
Okay,
how many
again,
continents are there?
You know a lot
how
of
many
information,
continents
and I'll
are there?
give you that.
How many continents are there?
Okay,
ma'am, how many continents are there?
There's hundreds, but I can't
There's
remember.
7.
Oh, 7 continents. I thought countries. Sorry, countries. I thought you were talking about countries. I'm not doing an information war. I'm doing what I saw him do. He glorified a man on Women's Day. He's trying to destroy reality of men and women. That is a bad thing, and that's a Marxist thing. So, you're asking me all of these questions because you're trying to get me. Okay, yeah, I might not have all of these little things that you remember, but what I know is common sense. And Biden Biden's administration is not common sense. They sold us out, just like Obama, giving money to our enemies instead of helping our allies like Israel, who was the only country to stand and take down those nuclear facilities that could have caused World War III. Let me finish. World War III, except for Israel. Israel was the only one. Donald Trump asked other countries to help because they were affecting them too. And they had their tail between their legs and did nothing.
So, ma'am, the reason why I picked you to come up to the microphone knowing that it'd be a disaster is because I think that you are a very accurate representation of where the right is at today in modern political discourse and American politics. I think that you and many others are clueless people who don't know what they're talking about, have done no previous investigation or research into the American political system, can't even name a bill that Biden passed that you disagree with, yet you think he's a devil, and blame Obama for all of your problems, including the FBI, quote unquote, going into the J6 riots 4 years after his administration was over. And I think that it is very important for you, me, everybody in the circle, and everybody watching at home to start caring about the world that we live in, start caring about critical thought, and doing investigative research into our beliefs and why we believe them before our world has gone to this shit of baseless claims, propaganda, and just putrid nonsense that is highlighted in the mouths and brains of politicians, the president, and cable news. It's important for us to think critically, and that's something that I don't think you do.
I think it's just straight up one word: projection. Left always projects. That's it. You're projecting all of your faults on me because I actually have life experience, which you don't have, and I have been a liberal, and I stepped out of that when I saw what they were doing with my child at school, who I pulled out and I'm homeschooling.
I've been on the earth for less years than you have, but I've done more with the years that I have.
Okay, we got to stop there.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause for trying. Let's give a round of applause to Dean. Thank you, Dean. If you want to let us know what you thought about this episode.
No, thank you. All right. I'm going to end it here. If you're watching this on YouTube, when I've edited it down and uploaded it there, don't forget to debate the like button, talk over the subscribe button, and argue with the notification bell so you get notified next time I upload. And I'm going to wrap things up here. Check out some of my other videos. Also, obviously, live streams this channel. Yeah, debate with me directly when I'm live next time if you have things you want to say to me directly.